welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm your host, Layla O'Day, and today we will be discussing dioxins. Here to educate us more about that subject is Mustafa.
Thank you, Layla. Dioxins are one of the most dangerous toxins in the world, and they're present in every human being, yet people know so little about them. So today we'll learn more about them.
Awesome. So how exactly are dioxins produced?
They're produced primarily during the incineration or burning of waste, the bleaching processes used in pulp and paper mills, and the chemical synthesis of trichlorphenolic acid, hexachlorophene, vinyl chloride, trichlorophenol, and pentachlorophenol.
Okay, here's the general chemical structure of dioxins so our viewers can see that. Also, what class of toxins are dioxins in?
Dioxins are in the class of similar chlorinated aromatic organic compounds. One or more chlorine atoms can attach to any available carbon atom, allowing for 100 to 200 forms of each.
Okay, and how are they introduced into the environment?
They're introduced through a variety of incineration processes, including improper municipal waste incineration and the burning of trash, and can be released into the air during natural processes such as forest fires and volcanoes.
What is the risk associated with dioxins for the U.S. and the U.S.'s environment?
Before safeguards and regulations were introduced, dioxins releases was a major problem in the United States. The PCBs worked with industry to ban products containing dioxins and to curb dioxin emissions. In 1979, EPA banned the manufacture of products containing PCBs, which are included under the term dioxin.
And do dioxins pose a present or future threat to the environment?
Dioxins pose a present threat to the environment because of exposure to dioxins can lead to adverse health effects now, including hormonal problems, infertility, cancer, and possibly diabetes. High levels of exposure over time can lead to chloracne.
And how long do dioxins remain active in our environment?
Dioxins remain present in surface soil for 9 to 15 years and only degrade half of their concentration. In surface soil, dioxins rise rate remain unchanged over time.
Is the contaminant volatile?
No.
And does it move with soil or water?
Well, if you directly eat soil, then you get a high intake of dioxin, or they are moving around in dust particles.
And how are they broken down?
Dioxins break down very slowly in the environment, with half-life ranging from 9 to 15 years. They bind to soil particles, and further down into the soil it is, the longer it will take to go without breaking down.
What habitats and species are most affected by dioxins?
The developing fetus is most affected by dioxins, as well as people who work in the manufacturing industry and eat a lot of fish. Dioxins display their effects by impairing functions in the immune system, the reproductive system, and many organs. Long-term exposure that is intense can lead to cancer.
Oh, what are the symptoms of exposure?
Acute, intense dioxin exposure leads to skin lesions and dysfunction of organs such as the liver. Chronic dioxin exposure can lead to various types of cancer. However, everyone has background exposure to dioxins, which doesn't affect human health. It is the high levels that brings about concern.
What is the lethal dose of dioxins, and what is the toxicity of dioxins under standardized conditions?
The lethal dose of toxicant is difficult to determine because the idea of human beings dying directly from dioxin is controversial. However, TCDD is one of the most toxic dioxins in its LD50 for guinea pigs and is 0.0006 milligrams.
And are some people more sensitive to dioxins than other people?
Yes, newborn babies and fetuses are more sensitive to dioxins.
And what are its effects like when comparing it to other environmental contaminants?
The effects of dioxins are synergistic.
And do we have any regulations or laws in this country that control the use of dioxins?
Well, CERCLA, the Clean Air Act, the Toxic Substances Control Act, the Emergency Planning and Community Right to Know Act, and the Safe Drinking Water Act exist to control the use of dioxins.
That's good. And what are some possible substitutes for dioxins?
Some substitutes for dioxins could be to eat non fatty meats and not a lot of dairy in our diets. Eating balanced diets will prevent intense exposure to dioxins. Also, the technology that controls waste incineration while producing low dioxin emissions would lower the amount of dioxins.
Okay, thanks so much for educating me and all of our viewers on dioxins. It's been a great time.
Of course, anything for you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.